What's the deal, you guys? This is Kali the One, and I am back with another live stream today, man. If you are watching this, please make sure you like, subscribe, share, run me up, get me in the algorithm. Also, if you're watching this, please head over to the Viral Way podcast, like, subscribe, share, run us up, get us in the algorithm, help us keep the movement moving. Without further ado, I do want to get into the first topic of the night. Again, if you guys are watching this, thank you so much. Thank you for the love and the support. Without further ado, I do want to get into the first topic of the night, which is in recent news, we have seen Daniel Penny, which was accused of the murder of Jordan Neely in New York on the subway a couple of years back. And he was just recently acquitted of all charges. So I do want to get into that and my thoughts on that, to be honest. Now, I want to give a breakdown of who they are and what happened. So Jordan Neely, he's 30 years old at the time of his death. He was most known for his Michael Jackson performances on the subway in New York. He started having some mental health issues around 2007 after his mother passed. He also has multiple arrests, right, and charges, 42 to be exact, including petty larceny, um, fraud. What else? He has assault on 3 women from the years of 2019 to 2021. So he's racked up, I believe, also as well on he was top 50 on New York's craziest homeless people, which I didn't even know that was a list. But just looking into all these things, this is the information that I found on Jordan Neely the day before he was going to go ahead and or the day before he was murdered. He actually did try to push somebody into the subway. So that's what we know about Jordan Neely. Now, what do we know about Daniel Penny? We know that he was an ex-Marine. He served 4 years, and where it led him up to now, which was him in New York going to school. So he was probably using his GI Bill or something of that nature to do that. That's really all we know about him. He doesn't seem to have a record, obviously, because he was a Marine, so he can't have too bad of crimes on his record, right? What took place was Jordan Neely came on a subway. He was irate. He was harassing other people on the subway, asking for money. He was repeating over and over again. He was ready to go to jail for life. I will kill you, and I'm ready to die. So other people were trying to calm him down. They were unsuccessful. That's when Daniel Penny came into the situation and tried to calm him down as well. What ends up happening is Daniel Penny gets him in a chokehold on his back. At that point, Jordan Neely is still resisting to where there has to be 2 other people that come and help to subdue Jordan Neely. And so at that point, he does pass away, I believe, a day or 2 afterwards due to strangulation. When you look at the body cam footage of the police that arrived directly after the incident, multiple people on the bus or on the subway, my apologies, stated that this guy was irate, he was crazy, and Daniel Penny did us a service. We were scared. We assumed that Jordan Neely was going to hurt us. When you watch the body cam footage from the police officers that arrived directly after, that is what you see. That is what you hear. And the testimonies are coming from all different colors: black women, black men, white men, Mexican men. So there's a multitude of different races in there. And the reason why I point that out is because this is, like most cases, become a race thing. And I wanted to point that out to let you guys know and understand that all races on this subway at this point in time deemed Jordan Neely as a threat. Not just whites, not just Latinos or Hispanics, blacks as well. Everybody that was on there felt he was a threat and was thankful for Daniel Penny. Now, with that being said, do I think Jordan Neely deserved to pass? Of course not. Not at all. But we got to stop acting like dude was this saint, okay? And that might sound crazy. Doesn't mean he deserved to die, but what we need to understand is this. When you're outside and in the world in general, what you do, it comes back to you. Point blank, period. So If you're somebody who's living a life of crime, for instance, you're doing bad things, you're putting bad energy out there into the world, 9 times out of 10, you're going to reap what you sow. So if you're doing bad, you're going to eventually receive bad. Might not be tomorrow, it might not be the next day, but eventually it will come in whatever way it decides to manifest itself. You cannot stop that. This is the laws of the universe. So people are looking at it from an emotional standpoint and a law standpoint. But before I even get into those, just look at it from a universal standpoint. My bad, I lost my train of thought. Look at it from a universal standpoint. This guy has 42 arrests on his record for, like I said, petty larceny, pushing people into subways, theft. We've got assault on 3 multiple women unprovoked. So when you're putting that negative energy out there, eventually you're going to get it back. How many times do you think he's been down there in that subway? How many times do you think people get assaulted a day in a subway, in a week, in a month? It's a lot of crazy shit that goes on down there. So I don't want to make it a race thing all the way, because shit like that happens all the time on the subway in New York. People get in a fight, people get cut up, people lose their lives, people commit suicide, jump into the tracks. People do a lot of things on the subway in New York and while waiting for the subway in New York. So this isn't something that is shocking. And quite frankly, like I said, with the universal laws, if I didn't know what I knew about Jordan Neely, I probably would look at the case differently. But knowing what I know and taking those universal laws into effect, somebody coming up and telling me he was strangled to death in a subway, as horrific as that is, and as unfortunate as it is, when you look at his track record, it's not surprising. It's not surprising that he went out in a negative way, because that is how he was living his life, whether it was because of mental health or not. That's not up to us. We can't put mercy on somebody who continuously does something over and over and over and over again. Now, again, that doesn't mean he deserved to die. I want to reiterate that. But what it does mean is that if you keep up and keep on fucking around, you're going to find out. Eventually, you're going to run into somebody on the subway that's on the same type of time as you, or somebody on the street that's the same type of time as you. You're either going to hurt them, they're going to hurt you, you're going to go back to jail, you're going to kill somebody, they're going to kill you. This is the next steps if you don't get help, if you don't stop doing what you're doing. So the fact that we know what we know about Jordan Neely, where was he headed anyway? Yes, he was a bright-eyed, young man and a performer, and I'm sure he was creative, and he's a human being that deserves to live and breathe life, of course. But when you're living a certain type of lifestyle in a certain area, what else can we expect? He was not a saint. At the end of the day, this is not an Ahmaud Arbery. This is not Trayvon Martin. This is not Eric Garner. This is not George Floyd. I feel like those people were targeted specifically. Ahmaud Arbery, he was on a run. People tracked him down. Trayvon Martin, he was getting Skittles out of a convenience store. George Floyd, I believe, was coming out of a liquor store. Eric Garner coming out of a liquor store. So in those cases, in my opinion, they were not seen as the aggressor at all. At all. They weren't on a subway. They weren't screaming at people. Most of them didn't even have a bad record. I believe George Floyd had a record, but still in his instance, what you saw was completely different from the Daniel Penny situation. Completely different. Before Daniel Penny got involved, multiple people attested to Jordan Neely being a threat, feeling scared, him repeating over and over again, "I'm going to kill you. I want to die. I'm willing to go to jail for life," over and over and over again. So this isn't somebody who was just on a walk or coming out the store or was just, in their car and the police or some crazy white dude targeted them and killed them due to the color of their skin. You can't necessarily even put that on this, because you have people that are Black, that were Hispanic, as well, saying that this dude was a danger. With that being said, how can you make it racial if the people in there of the same race as Jordan Neely felt threatened and testified in court on Daniel Penny's behalf. How at that point can we say it's racially motivated? That's all that I'm saying. Am I saying he deserved to die? No, I think it was a bad day. Oh, that might sound crazy. What do you mean? It was just a bad day. Somebody was murdered. Well, why I'm saying it's a bad day is because I don't think Daniel Penny left the house thinking I'm going to kill somebody today, and I don't think Jordan Neely left the house thinking I'm gonna die today. I think they both left the house, both left their houses doing what they do, going down the track record that they've been going down, living the lives that they have been living, and they boom, they bumped into each other, they collaborated, and this is what happened, and this is the result of that. Now, in court, they brought in a martial arts expert who teaches the Marines. He stated the difference between a blood choke and an air choke. A blood choke is lethal, an air choke is not as lethal. They showed the video of the choking of Jordan Neely. The experts stated that while at points in the video and in the choking, he did perform a blood choke, that he also performed an air choke within the video as well. And he also said that due to the nature of what was going on in the circumstances, that's what we would base our appropriate use of force, what we decide if we're going to use a blood choke or an air choke, how long we're going to hold the choke. All those things can vary depending on circumstance. When you watch the video, there was multiple people that had to subdue Jordan Neely. Multiple. Even while he was subdued or while he was being restrained by Daniel Penny as well as another gentleman, he still was moving around. Now, some people might say, well, that's not a threat. But if my adrenaline is rushing and your adrenaline is rushing and everybody's adrenaline is rushing, then that is a threat. That is most certainly a threat. And then another thing, people are saying, well, he had mental health issues. Okay. And so the 40 people that are on the subway are supposed to know he has mental health issues. And even if they can see some mental illness in him, does that mean that they're supposed to think that they're safe? That doesn't mean you're not going to hurt me because you can't understand something. That might further my thought that you might do something to me. You're irate. We don't know what you're going to do. You're not in your right mind. Now, could he have talked him maybe down in a calmer way? Possibly. But not everybody does conflict resolution the same. And that's the thing people are having a hard time figuring out. Who's to say if anybody else was in that position, they would have done something different? Maybe you would have walked up and tried to talk to him, and then maybe he would have got aggressive with you. And then at what point do you say, you know what? I'm not putting my life in jeopardy. We going to the ground, or I'm firing on you. At some point, a lot of people in that situation would have done the same thing. Maybe they would have went as far. Maybe they not. Maybe they wouldn't have. Maybe they would have went overboard of that. But what we do know is people handle conflict resolution differently. And you can't say that somebody wouldn't feel like, hey, I got to get this guy out of here before he tries to hurt me, compared to somebody saying, hey, I might just talk him down. Both of those things are something you can do. But in a adrenaline rush situation, you might not make the best decision. And I think that's why the charges of manslaughter was on him, because in a rush decision, he did partake in a fight, but he didn't have the intent to hurt him. He didn't target him. It's like I said, it wasn't like Ahmaud Arbery when he just seen somebody walking down the street and followed him through the woods, cornered him, and then killed him. It's not the same type of situation. This dude had been a threat to men, women, everybody that was on the subway. He was a potential threat to and was going to continue to be a potential threat to. Does that mean he deserved to die? No. But again, if you look at his track record, that's a receipt of showing you of what he's done and probably more than likely what he's going to continue to do if he doesn't go to jail or somebody does something to him. It's that simple. And unfortunately, he did lose his life. But in my opinion, when you're playing around and you're doing those things, what do you expect to happen? He had a father, but I don't think they were even that much in his life. If you Subway performing, now they want to check. Okay, I get that. But where were y'all at getting Jordan his help when he needed it? He's 30 years old. So this is something that should have been addressed. And when you look within the system, when it comes to incarceration, they're not going to handle a mental patient the correct way. So they might keep you incarcerated somewhere instead, or put you in a hole, or put you in solitary confinement instead of giving you the right mental help you need, giving you the wrong pills. So there's a lot of things can happen, or letting you out because you're not deemed competent, putting you back on the streets. So at some point, we can blame the system all we want, but we do have the right to police ourselves. We do have the right to make our own decisions in America. And so his family could have very well made some more decisions for him. After 42 arrests, you would think Jordan Neely's father would step in and say, hey, you have a real problem, buddy. But he never did that, did he? He continued to let it happen. Everybody sat by and continued to let Jordan Neely's mental state digress more and more and more and more and more until it led to this situation. And now everybody wants to come out and care. And now everybody wants to come out and seek vengeance. But where were you when he was struggling the entirety of his life, or probably since 2007, which he's only 30 years old. So almost damn near half of his life, he's been suffering with this. Where were y'all at? Where were you guys at? So his track record, and then you got to think about it as this as well. We know how things go in the court of law, right? We know how things go in the court of law. The situation does not look good for Jordan Neely. You have, again, an ex-convict who, no college degree, no serious job, nothing like that. And we know he has mental health issues. Next to a white Marine that is now in college. It looks ugly. It's ugly for him. And unfortunately, it was stacked against Jordan Neely from the beginning. Now, during trial, the jury dropped this more serious charge, trying to get Penny convicted on the lesser charge, but the jury couldn't even decide on that. So it was all thrown out. A lot of people are mad about this because they feel that this was an act of racism. They feel that this was an act of prejudice. And in my opinion, I just don't see it that way. You can hate me for that. You can call me a coon for that, a not like us, whatever it is. I truly believe that it wasn't race motivated. When you even take a look into Daniel Penny, it's like, for one, he doesn't look like that kind of person, going off of how he looks. Then you look at his service in the military. He did 4 years. I'm just looking at things because we can't judge him by his character. We can only judge him by what we have, what we can see. Same thing with Jordan Neely, records, where they went to school, what peers are saying, right? All Petty's or Penny's peers are saying outstanding things about him. He's had a calm demeanor. He would get the job done. So there's nothing for us to go off of that would be negative when it comes to him. So that's why I don't think it's racially motivated. You look at his time in the Marines, it seems like he just did his little time, his sentence, his 4 years. A lot of people do that. That don't mean that they're the most patriotic people in the world, or they hate black people, or whatever the case is. He did his 4 years. He got up out of there and probably took the GI Bill and went to school like a lot of people do in the military. Again, this is why I think this was just a bad day. Just a really bad day for both of them that ended up in a catastrophe. Because I don't think Daniel walked out that house thinking he was going to kill somebody. And I don't think Jordan left the house thinking he was going to pass away or be murdered. I just don't think so. But all of this guy was a beautiful artist and all of this. Come on, man. I'm not saying nobody's life is worth more than anyone's, but the track record, what he was into, what was going on, I can't feel bad for somebody who continuously put themselves in situations of harm or were the harm to others. I just can't. We can, if he was black, if he was white. I mean, what do you want me to say about it when it comes to that? The facts state people in the room, in the subway with him directly after the incident felt Daniel Penny was in the right, regardless of color. You had black women, black men, Latino men, all attest to bro being a menace in there and that Daniel Penny did what he was supposed to do. Point blank, period. So you got to get out your feelings about that because the people that were there felt that he did the right thing and even testified in court for him. So while it's unfortunate, I think this is something that we can't let it rile us up. We got to stop letting this shit get us into some sort of imaginary race war with people where we start going outside and protesting and doing all this extra shit that doesn't change anything really, in my opinion. BLM is calling for riots. We already know these people are scammers. They make their money off the backs of black people who have hope in the community. They fear monger. That's what BLM is doing. This is some shit that has probably happened multiple times before in New York on the subway, and it's only being blown up because of the optics. You have a white Marine, like I said, and then you have a subway performer that's black with mental health. They know what they're trying to do. Crazy shit happens on the subway every day, every single day. People are murdered down there a lot. People are hurt and injured down there a lot. It's what it is. It's a grimy place. It's like the BART in Oakland. You got to watch your back. It is what it is. Rest in peace to Jordan Neely. He did not deserve to die, but eventually the universe is going to give you what you're looking for or you're asking for, even if you don't feel like that's what you're asking. You have to, hopefully, if you're lucky, you'll get to realize that you were maybe asking for the wrong thing. Next thing I want to get into is Luigi Mangione update. So as you know, United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson was gunned down in front of a Hilton about 6:47 a.m. a week ago. The suspect had a mask on. He fled on a city bike. We did recover his backpack. His backpack had Monopoly money in it. Turns out it was Luigi Mangione. He was located at a McDonald's about 300 miles away. He did have the gun on him. He had the fake IDs on him. The prints from the gun did match Luigi Mangione's. So there is that. One moment, y'all. So the prints of the gun did match Luigi Mangione's prints. They do have him in custody. So the update is, well, from what I found out, I've went through a few theories, and I think most people have when it comes to this. My first theory was this. Insider trading. I saw that Brian Thompson was under investigation by the Department of Justice for insider trading. If you don't know what that is, that's when you get knowledge privy or not privy to the public when it comes to securities or stocks. You take that knowledge and you increase your value with that knowledge, whether that be pulling out or putting more in. Martha Stewart went to jail for that. So my theory was that, Brian Thompson was either going to tell or he was sloppy. Whichever one, he was under investigation and they were getting ready to find out the bigger players at play. And that's why they got him out of here. They needed to tie up a loose end. That's how I personally felt. Turns out that might not have been the case, but it still could be, right? Everything is still unfolding. So these are just a couple of the theories that I have. But then his manifesto was recovered as well. And he said that he was by himself. And this was very easy. It was a trivial task. He pulled up he did some social engineering, which, if you know, that's like trying to coerce people, get serious information out of people. It also could be phishing through emails, which I could see that being a viable way for him to get the arrival time of Brian Thompson. People probably are sending emails from their personal emails or United Healthcare, servers, and VPN is not that strong, and he was able to hack into it, and that's how he got the location. They're saying the gun may have been 3D printed. So bro is smart. We know he has a bachelor's as well as a master's in computer science. So he is smart and very capable of doing some of the things that's, he's accused of. But what I kind of found weird, and so, let me just backtrack. Luigi Mangione, after his arrest, is getting a lot of praise from celebrities and people on social media all over. So they're stating that he's a political revolutionary. He's doing this for the greater good. And I don't know if I 100% believe that. Now, when you look into Luigi Mangione and who his family is, They own about 9 to 10 long-term care facilities. If you know anything about long-term care facilities, then you know that a lot of times in those long-term care facilities, people are mistreated, whether either if you're elderly or not. A lot of people are mistreated. There's a lot of patient negligence going on in long-term care facilities. On a national average, long-term care facilities are supposed to receive only 9 demerits. Demerits are pretty much like infractions for having, negative things go on at your long-term care facility. All of the long-term care facilities under the Mangiones, it's 24 demerits, meaning they're way above the negative instances than what they're supposed to be. 89% of low-risk patients within these long-term care facilities, and low-risk patients are people who, they're not fall risk, they're probably not incontinent, they can walk, they're competent, right? All these things to make them lower risk people. 89% of low risk people in their long term care facilities are not going to the restroom. They're having to shit and piss on themselves. So imagine being low risk. Imagine all you need is just a little assist to the bathroom and you don't even get that. Not only that, max occupancy for most of their facilities are 86 people. What they're recording is 121 people in the facility. That's probably 3 to a bed, 3 to a room. So why I said I don't think he's a political revolutionary, and it got me thinking about this, is because he went to a $40,000 a year school, probably went to a great middle school. He lives in one of the nicest parts of Maryland. I don't know if you guys saw his Grail searches. Bro was buying all Rick Owens. This kid is rich. He's privileged. He has it all. And it's off of the backs of his family's nursing home and long-term care facilities, which what goes on in there, according to the demerits and the stats, is not good. So if you go to his manifesto, he hurt the CEO or gunned down the CEO of United Healthcare because they pretty much were practicing negligence towards his mother, who had some sort of neurodegenerate disease where her nerves were hurting, her feet, her ankles, her legs, her back. And they didn't waste. Well, United Healthcare did waste all of their money with consultations and, first-time appointments. They never really got any help. And so he felt that United Healthcare strung him and his mother along, and they do that to most people, and that's why he deserved to perish. He mentioned how we're the most expensive for healthcare, but number 42 on life expectancy. Now, the reason why I'm saying I call cap on that is because, again, you've lived a nice life off the backs of elderly and people not elderly going through patient abuse and patient negligence. If I'm a low-risk patient in a Mangione facility and I can't get up to use the bathroom and you're not taking me and I have to shit in a diaper as if I can't get up and shit in the toilet, that's abuse. That would be considered medical negligence and abuse. In a hospital, you're supposed to change somebody every 2 hours, depending on maybe every hour if they're on life support or something of that nature. So the irony is you murked a CEO for stringing along your mother. Meanwhile, the way you guys were even able to pay through life was on the backs of people being sick and being hurt themselves. And the more sick people and the more hurt people that come into your facilities, the more money you make. The longer you make the money, the longer you're rich. So that's why it also feels like some spoiled brat shit, where it's like, okay, you've known about these kinds of practices and benefited from them your whole entire life until you couldn't. And when you couldn't, you went psycho. And that's when you decided to go ahead and go off the grid and then assassinate or gun down the CEO of United Healthcare. So to me, it's not, I'm in a toss up right now. I don't know if it was something respectful and for the greater good, because I don't know if anything will really change. Or was it something that was just, selfishly motivated because he wanted to get back for what was going on, with his mom, not because of the greater good of society. And I feel like so far more points to that than anything else. I was thinking it could still be a psyop because why would you? But then I just don't know. A lot of his background tracks as it could be him. The eyebrow thing is a little off, but we'll have to see the case unfold more and more and more. But right now, my two theories are that he either was sent there to get him whacked out of there because he's sloppy or he's going to snitch, or he's a spoiled brat that once the tables turned and they weren't in his favor or for his mother's favor, he decided to do something about it. So I'm kind of conflicted on praising Luigi Mangione or not. I don't think, I don't know. It's a weird situation, and I think we need more information to unfold before we're able to really say he's this political revolutionary that did it, for us when it could have just been for him. So, kind of how I feel about it. Okay, next topic. I want to get into Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter played Colorado football. He might be entering the draft this year coming up. He does have a girlfriend. That's what I want to get into. He did just go on. What's it called? I always forget the name. The Pivot is the show. He went on there and talked about it. He also just recently went viral. His girl was yelling at him in the stands or something like that. So allow me just a brief moment here to get the information or the videos of what it looks like. Hold on, y'all. Oh man, computer's been slow all day, man. 1 second, y'all. Okay, let's see what we got here. I'm gonna find it right here. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Hold on. That shit popped up quick. My bad, y'all. Here we go. I gotta let it load. It's really bad right now for me. What the fuck? Hold on, y'all. I'm so sorry. Having some technical difficulties. Damn, nothing will load for me. Let me go to YouTube and see if that'll work. 1 second, y'all. 1 second. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Let's go to shorts. Damn. Okay, so this is one of them. Let's see if it load. It's not even loading, y'all. This is terrible. This is terrible. Wow. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Hold on. I'm gonna give it one more try. I'm gonna give it one more try. This is terrible. I don't want to do this without the video, man. I don't. I need the videos. Hold on, y'all. Damn it, this is crazy. One second, y'all. Yeah, nothing will play for me. I think I'm having some technical difficulties. I don't know exactly what's going on. Man. All right, y'all. Well, yeah, I gotta figure this out. I don't know exactly what's going on, but thank you guys for watching anyway. If you are, I'll try to hop back on right now and see exactly what's going on. Yeah, but if you guys did watch everything else, please, thank you again. Like, subscribe, share, run me up, get me in the algorithm. If you're also watching this, head over to the Viral Way podcast. Please go like, subscribe, and share as well for that. Thank you for the love, for the hate. It's all support. I don't know where y'all are going, but you got to get the hell up out of here. Peace.